There is a particular kind of silence that only musicians know. It's not the silence before the first note, it's the sound of exactly three people clapping. And honestly, I am being generous when I say three. This was my own show. So here's the story. After spending years grinding through the Chicago gig scene, I finally get an opportunity to play at a very prestigious jazz club in Chicago. I remember this night like it was yesterday. Now, I was grateful to see my name on the marquee and to have the opportunity to even play there. I spent time promoting to get the word out on my show and preparing myself and the band for the show. But when the house lights came up and I stepped out, the room was crickets, a ghost town. All that work, all that anticipation, and I was looking at more empty chairs than human beings. The owner came up to me after the show. He was kind, but his words stung. He said, "Tyrus, I am obligated to pay you, but maybe you should think about being a side man rather than a front person. Maybe the front man thing is just not you." So, in essence, he was telling me to settle and play it safe. And in that moment with three people in the audience, it would have been so easy for me to believe him. Today we live in a culture that worships the overnight success. We want our food fast, we want our deliveries in minutes, and we want instant success to be a star. If you just learned to play your instrument yesterday and you want to be a star tomorrow, I guess my question for you is, are you really ready? I had a parent come up to me here at the House That Rocks, and she said, "Can you train my daughter to sing?" And I said, "Of course." And she said that her daughter has a competition in 2 weeks. What I am saying is, don't rush the process. If you want to be a professional musician or you want to be in the public eye, ask yourself a few questions. Do I know what it takes to perform or speak for 2 hours? Do I know how to tune my instrument? Do I know my instrument even well enough? Or what key am I even playing in? And finally, do I have an understanding of the art of entertainment and the ability to command the stage and crowd? The truth is, instant success is not always good success. It says a lot when you are in the trenches, learning the business, playing at different venues, or speaking and getting bumped upside the head with mistakes. Instant success is a myth. And it's a story we tell to avoid the work. But in the meantime, and in the between time, that's when it all happens. Take it all in and live deeply in the moments of your experiences, including successes and disappointments. Soak in every room and every win, because those experiences will sustain you in your hour of despair and doubt. Let's look at George Clooney. We see the Oscar winner, but he spent 15 years in the trenches, and the experiences of TV pilots and auditions that literally went nowhere for him. He didn't hit the show ER until he was 33 years old. That's 15 years of people likely telling him to find a steady job, or be the background extra, or simply saying no. The difference between a star and a hobbyist can often be just the ability to endure the no. But grit isn't just about having resilience. It's also about the why. Madonna once said, "Never do music for the money. Do it for the love of the music." And money is just a byproduct. If I had been playing in that Chicago club just for the paycheck, I would have quit that night. But I was playing because of the love of the music within me. When you do it for the love, the empty rooms can be that practice session that prepares you for the future. And you just happen to get paid for it. Listen, you aren't alone in the struggle. Tyler Perry is the ultimate example of that Chicago club experience that I had. When he staged his first musical, I Know I've Been Changed, in 1992, only 30 people showed up in a massive theater. He lived out of his car, he was technically homeless, and he kept restaging the play for 6 years, mostly to empty rooms. He had and has grit. He didn't change his message to fit the market. He just kept refining his craft until the audience finally found him. He went from a car to owning his own 330-acre studio. Here's another Grit story. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his big break until Jungle Fever and Pulp Fiction, when he was in his mid-40s. And before that, he spent decades in New York as a struggling theater actor, battling addiction and being told he was talented but never getting the lead call. Viola Davis spent years in the meantime working in the theater and taking the side roles in films with only a few lines. She was 43 years old when she finally gained mainstream attention for that 8-minute role in Doubt. She famously said that she did not have a plan B. I thought about the club owner's words for a long time. I looked at Tyler Perry, who spent 6 years playing to empty seats and sleeping in his car before anyone noticed. I looked at Samuel Jackson, who didn't make it until he was 43 years old. J.K. Rowling, who was living on welfare and got rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter even saw the light of day. Walt Disney was told that he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. They were all told to some degree, no, stay in the background, or it was too late for them. But they knew what I realized. The no from a critic is just an invitation to work harder on your yes. In the music business, we see these stadium tours, but we don't see the years of sleeping in vans and carrying your own equipment. Grit or resilience is a muscle that can grow. Every time someone tells you you're a side person and you choose to keep practicing like a lead person, the muscle gets stronger. If I had listened to that club owner in Chicago, if I had accepted his definition of my talent and the label that he attached to me, I would have packed up my dreams and found a safe seat in the back of someone else's band. I would have let his limitations become my reality. But I didn't stop. I kept refining my sound and my talent of music, and it evolved and continued to grow to this day. And because I stayed in the game, because I had grit to ignore the side person comment, the doors eventually swung open. So this failed Chicago keyboardist ended up traveling and performing in over 8 different countries, thousands of gigs, and founding my own music school called The House That Rocks here in Charlotte. Coming from a room of 3 people to international stages of thousands. If you're watching this and you're in your Chicago night, if the room is empty, the views are low, or the experts are telling you to stay in the background, listen to me. They don't know your ceiling. They only see your current floor. Resilience and grit is the only thing that separates the people who used to play from the people who still play. Money is the byproduct. Love is the fuel, and grit is the engine. Don't let an empty room define you. Keep playing, and most of all, keep practicing, practicing, practicing. I will see you in the next one. Subscribe for more about my life, music education, entrepreneurship, and my faith that keeps me going. My name is Tyrus Washington, and I approve of this message.